Wouldn't detect it now.
Okay.
It might.
Give you a check engine light.
All right, so sharpening. We watch the videos. Based on the videos, what are the things we can control or modify?
The relief angle.
Relief angle, the size of the cutting edge.
I'm still writing this. All right, now you may say stuff. Okay, what can we change?
Relief angle.
Relief angle, also called lip clearance angle.
Size of the cutting lip.
Well, how about the most important thing?
The included angle.
Included angle.
It's included
It's included in there. That was pretty much it, wasn't it? Those two things.
Oh,
Obviously,
the
you can-
heel.
Well, that would be
Relief.
the relief angle.
Oh, okay.
The centering of the chisel point.
Yeah, but you want it to center. So you can control it. You could put it offsides if you wanted.
If you want an oversized hole.
Yeah, if you don't have a big enough
You
drill
control how
bit.
good the drill bit works, you just only sharpen one side.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, that's pretty much the only two things you can really control, as far as I can figure it out.
Make the chisel less narrow.
I need to redo this, obviously, because I think some of my outline this here is not appropriate, but nobody cares. All right, drill bit speed and pressure, which should be its own thing there. Drill bit speed and pressure. You know what a hole saw is? Do you guys use hole saws for your project?
No,
Or
well,
just punches?
it's like a.
Oh,
It's like a big drill bit.
Not allowed.
Either
It's
it's
got
got
a
a
saw
sawtooth,
tooth,
it's like,
just-
it's got a drill bit in the center of it sometimes.
Yeah, sawtooth on the outside, there's a
Yeah.
drill bit in the center.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my first experience with, really getting into drilling and stuff, my stepdad wanted to build some wood burning stoves. So we got some like 1/4-inch plate steel, and I had to hole saw through some stuff. And he hands me this 1/2-inch electric drill. And he's like, "Be careful of that thing. When it catches, it'll break your arm off." He wasn't kidding, man. 1/2-inch drill, like you squeeze the trigger and they wind down, old electric ones. And I always have flashbacks about that. I'm gonna lose my arm. I was a little kid. All right, okay, drill bit speed and pressure. For soft materials, I have metals here. We can put materials. The included angle should be steeper. About what, how many degrees?
90.
Okay, we'll put 90 degrees right there. 90 degrees, that'd be 45 each side. And we're going to use a higher speed and low pressure. I have an 1/8-inch drill written down there. For some reason I put 1/8-inch drill and then I put plastic. About 6,000 RPM. And while I don't know if I've got this in my notes, all in my head, I'm just going to do it before I forget. There are special drill bits for plastic. So I always go extremes when you're thinking about this stuff. Plastic is the extreme on one end, carbon steel on the other end. So plastic is a soft material. We can then say, okay, then brass or bronze or stuff like that. But specifically for plastic, you can buy special plastic drill bits. And what makes them, and I make my own because it's real simple. And what it's called is a zero rake angle. They have to have a zero rake angle. And so to make this into a plastic drill bit, it would be real easy. Number one, you'd want it to be steeper, right? So I would just take it to a grinder, make it steeper. And then a zero rake angle is, once it's done, you grind it right here so that this sharp chisel edge is now flat. So you actually have a very small flat surface right there. And so the reason why is because when you're drilling into plexiglass, it will grab it and pull the drill bit through. And then when it gets to the back, it'll blow it out. And so on soft stuff, you actually want to scrape it away, not cut it away. So by making that right there 0 rake angle, flat, which means that this must be a rake angle right there. That's the only way I can figure that's the rake angle between here and there, but I don't ask you guys that. The 0 rake angle, by making that flat, it scrapes the plastic away. And then you'll get into working with plastic with Larry, but it's super important to back it up and stuff. I remember I had to drill a 1/4-inch hole in my brand new windshield, and it was like the worst thing. I didn't want to do it.
That would have saved weeks of time if I knew that.
What?
Working, we had to put on a whole whole door assembly, and you know, it's a 3 foot by 3.5 foot piece of plexiglass, and we're trying to drill out the holes, and it's ripping through because we don't know about that kind of
0
crap.
rake angle. Well, I guess we learned something
We're a
good
bunch of
then.
dumbass, you know, corporals and lance corporals trying to drill these holes, like.
So in regards to higher speed and lower pressure, wouldn't there be a risk of melting the plastic as well, or no?
If you're using that low.
Well,
That's kind of another extreme.
yeah, that would be the extreme
Pull the
case.
trigger and kind of let it.
But
take
in a
over the
way,
water.
you kind of are melting your way through it.
Okay.
I think on a microscopic level, you are.
Okay.
So, and that would be fine, honestly, as long as you're not heating the plexi to the point where it's damaging around it and causing crazing. That's what you want.
Yeah, that's what I was like, kind of like, wouldn't it, if there was too much friction, it might
Be bad.
Let's see, for typical metals, normal, I don't want to say normal metals for typical. Typical metals, angle is how much?
118.
118. And for about an 1/8 inch drill, mild steel aluminum would be about 3,000 RPM. And for high alloy steels, very hardened steel, the angle is how much? 140. Is that steeper or flatter? Flatter. Lower speed and high pressure. I didn't write it, but what would the verbiage be for typical metals, aluminum and mild steel? Be medium
Normal
speed,
pressure.
medium pressure. Yeah.
But
I didn't write it
What
'cause
does
it's a-
medium pressure feel like?
Well, that's what does hard pressure feel like? Well, what does light pressure? We'll get into that. Higher pressure. So hardened steel, stainless steel, that's pretty hard. That'd be about 1,500 RPM. High pressure is me putting all my weight on it.
If the bit ain't bending, then you got no
Yeah, you're
pressure.
not doing it. What is light? Obviously light, I think I go all the way to the plastics and stuff. I'm really not putting much pressure on it at all. Just maybe the weight of the drill, a little bit of hand pressure, that's it. Medium stuff, you're kind of putting a little bit of, a couple 15, 20 pounds into it. Because now we know what 30 pounds is from working on magnetos, right? Okay, so 30 would be quite a bit, so I'm saying maybe half that, 15. And then when I get into high alloy steels, depending on the drill bit, I might put all my weight into it. Get this thing to go.
Even on a small bit. Like what? How? Like. I guess,
Everything's proportional.
yeah, I know. I'm just trying to think about.
All right.
what
You
size?
may get into something called SFPM. And when you see that, I want you to go, what the, I don't know. I don't know what that is, so skip it. But it is, so speed may be represented. As specific, or SFPM, surface feet per minute. It is a function of RPM and drill size. So that way we're not just saying, well, hardened steel is this. It's dependent upon what I just said. Function of drill bit function of drill size, or drill bit to be, make sure we're talking about the same thing. RPM, revolutions per minute. So it is RPM equals surface per minute times diameter times pi. I know, now you hate me. Bring back Phil.
Too much math.
Divided by 12. I don't think I brought a calculator in with me. So if we have that, see what speed should be used to drill a 3/8 inch hole in aluminum plate. So 3/8 inch hole in aluminum
Divided by 12.
plate. If the surface feet per minute given is 250. So that's what you would get. We just say, oh, you want to drill a 3/8 inch hole in aluminum? Well, then you should be using 250. And you're supposed to know what to do with that. So what we do with that, we want to know what? We want to know the RPM. The RPM is going to be surface feet per minute times. Did I just switch formulas? We'll go with it. I thought it, times the drill,
That makes sense.
diameter, yeah, it's just changing it, times pi. All right, so the RPM equals, what's my surface feet per minute? 250 is the to tell me, it's the chart. The chart is going to tell me what to do. Sorry, let me go.
Yeah, where do they get that 250?
Yeah.
There was the given.
Yeah, but what's, like, is the FAA giving that to you,
Okay.
or what's the real? Okay, chart.
So, let's see, aluminum alloy, that's what I think I chose, aluminum alloy, right? Hole diameter you're drilling, I said, make this bigger, I can't even see it. 3/8, there's my feed rate, there's my speed in SFPM. So my speed is, I picked 250, because that's pretty much what I got right here. So 250, and so this is going to be my speed I'm trying to match right here. And then feed rate, inches per revolution, that's like a function of how hard you're going to press. That'd be a hard one to measure, but you just kind of have to imagine it. So 250, see where I got the 250? So if I was going to be drilling low and medium carbon alloy steel, doesn't apply.
You don't get to
Pick
do
something
that.
else. Stainless steel, there we go, it'd be 100 to 150. I don't know why it's like X'd out. Maybe it's just because it's ditto, like that right there. It's the same.
Figure it
So, okay.
Not this one, though.
All right, so back to this. So 250, now we know we got 250 times 12. Where do we get 12? It's just part of the formula. Drill diameter, I said, is 3/8. 3/8 is, in a fraction, or in a decimal, it's 0.375 times pi. Work it all out. We're going to end up with 3,000 divided by 1.178. And my RPM would then equal 2546. So you just have to do the math. All right. Now the big question is, why didn't they just write that right here? Because there's plenty of room. They could have just wrote, a chart like that, said 2546, but they didn't. So there we go. So if we get surface feet per minute, we can change that into RPM. Very simple, not a hard thing. Oh, I do talk about it. All right, good for me. All right, modified bits for plastic and other soft materials. And what did I say that was called?
Zero rake
Zero
angle.
rake angle. Zero rake angle. Let me see. In essence, it removes the cutting lip. To scrape material. Rather than cutting. All right, I got some, let's see, I think maybe rules for drilling. Just like in computers, always back up your work. What does that mean?
Put something behind it so that you can.
Put something behind it. Can I tell you how many times I've been drilling on something and I've taken a piece of wood and I put it behind what I'm drilling and I went through like that and then went into my finger?
Yeah.
You usually only go so far until you're like, I wish I would have done that. So always back up your work, put something behind it. This is especially important.
On thin things.
Yeah, I was gonna say with softer materials. Because it'll blow right through the back and explode out the back. For larger holes, let's see, larger holes. I use a pilot bit. What's a pilot bit?
Very
Small
small.
bit,
Start
pilot
off.
bit.
Actually, I shouldn't say pilot bit.
Pilot
That's not.
hole.
Yeah, use a pilot hole. That's more appropriate. Use a pilot. I like to just use 1/8 inch bits because you always have so many number 30s. Just number 30, it marks the spot where you want it real well. And I guess really if you're drilling a big enough hole and you missed it with a 30, you can move it over a little bit and maybe have some success. Let's see, pilot hole. And we talked about the pilot hole based upon what we saw in the film versus what I say, right? So I am in an agreement that your pilot hole should be at least as big as your chisel point. Otherwise, this chisel point, it isn't a cutting piece of the drill. You actually have to displace metal with that chisel point, so you have to push pretty hard to displace the metal before it gets into cutting. So if you have a pilot hole, then you're going to get the cutting lips going around the material, and the chisel point just kind of works its way through the hole that's already there. So that's why I like that. I like to step up depending on what I'm working on. If you're using thin material like 032, if you had to punch a hole 1.25 inches in 032 aluminum, would you use this?
No.
Chew it up.
It would never work. It would break through, blow out, and it would just kind of screw itself in and out on what's left. And then you'd have to fight it. What would you use to punch a hole that big in aluminum?
Pilot and then punch.
Okay, yeah, the punches, what'd you guys use? Did you use the hole punches?
Yeah.
And make sure it's just step up second punches.
We use
Step up bit.
The step bits, I love step bits.
Mhm.
I have several of those in my toolbox, and then the knockout punches, those are incredibly expensive.
The knockouts are?
Yeah, they are.
Really?
Yeah, really nice ones.
Okay.
I was gonna get one when I was doing something on my airplane, I needed something round. I looked up the price and I was just floored. It was beyond what I was willing to pay. I mean, it was like hundreds of dollars. I was like, what?
That's what a lathe is for.
It's hard to put a big piece of material in a lathe.
Let's see.
That big.
Like a-
Well, that's hard to
like
break.
if you were punching out instrument panels, don't go to Harbor Freight.
No, it's just they're the first ones to show up.
No, if you know aircrafts, go to Aircraft Spruce to get a nice one. So larger holes, we're gonna use a pilot hole. Everybody's clear on pilot holes then?
Yes.
All right, don't.
Oh, I meant to, like,
Oh,
a lathe to make one of those tools, the punching.
damn.
I will hold larger pieces of material in my hand, but you better make sure you got enough leverage on it. Don't hold small pieces in your hand. Inevitably, the drill bit's gonna catch and spin that material. I think I guys told you about my friend Smitty who lost part of his finger, had to have it reattached because he was doing an Adele clamp and he stuck his finger, their rings, we talked about them, put his finger in it and was just drilling a 1/4 inch hole through,
That's
and it
bad.
just grabbed it and
Oh.
Yeah, I think I remember
Yeah.
seeing that.
so
Wait, he put his finger in the clamp?
in the Adele clamp.
Fucking dumbass.
You probably thought he was so smart.
And wear safety glasses.
Oh, of course. Well, that's why it happened.
Have you ever, one of my worst injuries is when I got a piece of metal in my eye. Did I tell you about that? No, it was just a little fleck got in there. In
Wait.
fact, it wasn't even, I was bolting something under my truck.
What-
And the piece of metal fell off, got my eye, and I didn't even notice it. You know, and so that night I went home, went to sleep, and at 4 o'clock in the morning it was like, oh my God, I woke up in excruciating pain.
Was
You
it
know?
was it ferrous or was it non?
Ferrous, totally ferrous.
Okay.
Steel. And, you know, couldn't sleep at all. I was in so much pain. Went to the doc in the morning. They're like, you know, put some drop. Oh, you got some metal in your eye. Now, mind you, I can't wear contacts. I can't even put eye drops in my eye because I'm a wuss. I have to like put them on the side. So the doc's like, well, you got some metal in your eye. I got to pull it out. I'm like, well, I don't know how you're gonna do it because you cannot touch my. I can't touch my eyeball. He goes, well, we'll do it. So they put some numbing drops in there, and then they come at you with an electric drill. And your eye is wide open. And you see this drill coming at your eyeball, and they drill it out with a little grinder and stuff. And let me tell you, if you don't think you have pain receptors in your eyeball, let me tell you, you do. Because I hurt for a week after that. So you don't usually have to tell me twice to wear.
PPE.
Yeah, and I will back up that story with when I was in the Navy. We had one guy's a hard luck guy. Somebody was in the corner. It's back in the fantail of the ship. This was the width of the ship, right? And back where we were, it was about this wide. Some guy's over here with a grinder with a wire wheel cleaning something, and my buddy Titus walks out the door all the way on the other side and goes, ow! And he got a piece of that wire stuck in his eyeball that far away. So you don't think that stuff flies? It doesn't. All right, let's see here.
Or even like hammers.
About a time he got a piece of aluminum in his eye, which is completely non-ferrous. That's.
I was thinking, man, just stick me in an MRI.
Yeah, you say it's non-ferrous until you find a strong enough magnet.
Yeah.
Some
Your
people
eyeball
just
comes with it.
Yeah, exactly. Along with all the iron in your blood.
Oops, let's go back
like
to
those
this.
hammers.
Let's see,
Some
did we
people
miss
just
anything
decide,
here?
hey, this
All
hammer
right, so we
looks
got
like
our
a mushroom,
drill
let's keep using
speeds,
it.
our surface peak per
got
minute.
some
We
iron
watch
in
this
their,
guy.
gun now.
Ah, shanks. I didn't write anything about shanks. A different type of shanks. We're looking. So you guys had straight shank for the drill bits you've been using. This is called a what type of shank?
Paper.
Paper shank with tang drive on it. So got tang drive.
So, why does
Can
it
you
have
back
that, like it had on that image, that previous one, it had that neck, so that one also has that too? What's the purpose of that, like
What are you
right
talking
above
about?
your thumb?
What? Oh, the neck?
Yeah.
I don't know why it necks down like that. If it's just where they get the stamps or stuff, I have no idea
Okay.
why it necks there.
Because you see on the
I know
bottom.
it's neck diameter. I do not know. I don't get to know everything.
You're the
Okay.
smartest guy we
Wait,
know.
you wanna go back one more time, Kevin?
Only for 2 of these borders.
I don't think so, but.
Picture.
Okay, I think we talked about all that. Good.
Absolutely. In the sense that you just.
Geometry, I think we talked. I just pulled up some different stuff because some of these are good. I think these are good drawings. You have the margin. This is called the what? Don't look. Just tell me. Land. Okay. This is right here. This is the this chisel edge angle. This is the only picture that really shows it well. I don't care about that. You can't change it. This right here, this angle right here is the. You see that?
It's really, really.
Right
Oh,
here,
relief?
angle.
Relief angle?
And this angle here is called the included angle, cutting length angle. Oh, we got the shanks. Yep, taper shank, square shanks, straight shanks. Covered that.
Oh, that's the picture I want. Hold on.
Okay.
It's just easier to take a picture.
Yep, I think it's in
We'll wait
canvas.
just for you.
I know, but I look at my phone a lot.
See this lip clearance angle? That's not a lip clearance angle. I don't know what that is. That is not a lip. It's not showing anything. If it was aligned with this, it would be the chisel angle, but it's not. So
They're just making
They
things.
just
Yeah.
felt like, you know,
Looks like
throw
an
something
angle.
in.
They just know something we don't.
all right. So before you take off, that's kind of all I have to say about drill bits. But I'm going to say this. In a minute.